Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. It is going to be a hot day here in the Ozarks today. Almost 90 degrees. But the good thing is, not a single day of rain in the forecast for at least the next few days. So we are excited about that. We're excited to do a project with you guys today. We're going to put the DR field and brush mower to its test to see if it can stand up against Wild Roses and Blackberries, which are two of our biggest arch nemesis here in the Ozarks.
But first, let's check on my Silky Chicks that I showed you around Mother's Day, and we have a couple surprises over by the pigs today.
More than a couple.
Yes. So let's head in the brooder barn and check out the Silkies. Now, the last time you guys saw our Silky Chicks was on their very first day on the homestead. We actually went to the post office that day and got them and unboxed them for you. It's been several weeks now because that was Mother's Day. They have transitioned into the brooder barn, and let's see how well they're doing. Good morning, chickies. Looks like they had a good night and they were safe. Now, I'll tell you that I've been babying them a little bit. I've still been having a heat lamp on for them overnight, but honestly, I think that tonight we're not going to have the heat lamp on anymore for them. They're old enough and feathered enough, so I'm going to unplug that. And we're going to open their window to give them some fresh air throughout the day, and it is going to be quite warm, so they need it a little bit cooler in here. Well, it looks like they're good on food and good on water. Now, this is the first time that we have raised bantam chicks. Now, bantams are like mini chickens, small versions. And although I do have a couple of Silkies at the farm, we got them already as pullets, so they were already pretty big. The reason I'm saying that is we need to remind ourselves that because they're basically a miniature version, they're not going to grow very fast. And so we are used to chicks growing so fast. That's why I'm saying we just need to remember that they're little bitty chickens and are going to take longer to grow. And in the end, they're not even going to be that big. But they're doing really well. I'd say they're half to 2/3 feathered. And they're just having a really great time out here in our brooder. Okay, enough suspense. Let's head down and check out the pigs.
So the first thing we're going to do is head down and feed all of our non-mama pigs. Our two feeder pigs that we're growing out for food this year, our boar Charlie, and then our sow Myrtle, who doesn't have any babies right now. So let's go feed them first. Then we're going to head over to the mama pens. You guys are going to be surprised what's going on. Good morning, piggies. Are you guys hungry? You are? You're always hungry. Well, good morning. Now these are the feeder pigs that we're raising out this year for food. And they are growing really well. They were born, I believe, back in November, so they're looking really good. Well, good morning, Charles. You're standing so patiently waiting for your food. He likes to eat as I'm pouring it. You're funny, Charlie. Now you got food on your head. All right, you have a good breakfast. And Myrtle, probably the prettiest pig in the whole world. You got the best smile, don't you, Myrtle? Well, you can see that Ginger and her piglets are doing great. Look at them here. Her piglets are 5 weeks old now. We'll actually wean them at the end of this week. You guys remember they were born, well, 5 weeks ago. And there are 6 males and 3 females. Now, we've already sold all of the males. They've been castrated. We're selling those as barrows, as feeder pigs. And the 3 females, those we still need to keep an eye on for a little bit. We need to evaluate them and really make sure that they're breeder quality. If they are breeder quality, then we'll be selling those as registered breeders when they're just a little bit older. There's some very specific characteristics that you want in a Idaho pasture pig breeder, and that's what we're going to be watching for over the next few weeks. If you guys are interested in learning more about that, I recommend you check out like the Idaho Pasture Pig Registry website. They'll tell you all the characteristics that you're looking for in a breeder quality pig. We're actually going to go feed them over on the other side. I just wanted you guys to see them since they were standing right here at the fence. But let's go over on the other side. We'll feed them. Then, remember, Donna and Linda, they are 2 gilts, which means they're females who haven't had piglets yet, except they're no longer gilts. We're excited to show you guys. Good morning, Ginger. Good morning, piglets. Here's your food. All of the piglets are eating food on their own now, so I give Ginger her own scoop, and then I give another scoop for the piglets. She doesn't always want to share her scoop with the piglets. I guess I don't blame her. She's got a lot going on, and she needs all those calories. Now, you guys haven't seen this little pen here before. We actually just put this up last week. We realized that Donna and Linda were getting close to having their babies, and Ginger was still with hers. So we needed to move Donna and Linda to the barn area so that they could have their babies safely over by the barn. But we needed a pen so that Ginger and her babies could stay safe. So we just put up this little temporary pen, and it's going to work out great. Like I said, at the end of the week, we will be weaning these babies. So we'll move Ginger back in with Myrtle, and the babies can stay in this pen until they're ready to go to their new homes. All right, Donna is throwing a fit because she sees me with the feed bucket. So let's go to the next pen over and take a look at Donna. Well, good morning, Donna. Are you hungry for breakfast? There's your food. And it looks like you need some water too. You guys, look at Donna's piglets. They are 5 days old. They are doing so great. She did a great job. This was her very first litter. She had 9 babies. She actually had 10. 1 didn't make it, but it was born, stillborn. We're not exactly sure what happened, but that's not uncommon. But she has 9 healthy babies. She also, just like Ginger, had 6 boys and 3 girls. So we'll be having a lot more feeder pigs coming up for sale here in the next few weeks. If you guys are interested, you can contact us about those. And then just like Ginger's, the females will be holding on to a little bit longer to evaluate for breeder quality. Let's see if we can sneak inside of her pen and see her babies a little closer up. So next up is Linda. You guys, we've been watching Linda for over a week. We thought she was going to have her babies before Donna. But as of last night, when we came out to feed, still no babies. We came out just before bedtime last night, still no babies. But we came out first thing this morning, and she had her babies. From what I can tell, she's had 9. Now, because we weren't here to assist like we normally are, we still don't even know how many boys and girls there are. All we know is that they're running around already and they look super healthy. So we actually need to go in. We're going to give her a little time, but she looks like she did a great job. Looks like they're all alive. I did see her eating her afterbirth earlier, which means she's done having babies. She actually was out here already waiting for breakfast. A lot of people say that pigs will stop eating before they're going to have babies. They'll like stop for a day or so before they have babies. None of our pigs have ever done that. They eat right up to the moment that they're going to have their piglets. So I think we're going to go in. Let's see if we can get a little bit of footage of them, but I don't want to be too much in the way since they're so brand new. But you guys, let's go see if we can see her piglets. Good morning, Mama. It looks like you did such a good job having your piglets. Are you ready for breakfast? You're not even going to skip one meal, are you? No, you're ready to eat. We're going to see if we can kind of close her piglets inside the barn so we can get a closer look at them while she's eating. You guys, they look like they are doing great. I just real quickly tried to see. It looks like, just like our other 2 litters, she has had 6 boys and 3 girls. So you guys, like I said, we're not going to stay in here and do a whole lot. There's a couple of them that have a really long umbilical cord. We're going to try to cut those a little bit shorter right now so they don't get caught on anything. But other than that, we're going to leave Linda and her piglets alone for the day so she can bond with them. And we're just so excited. 3 litters of piglets at the same time. We're excited to get this going. Well, you guys, isn't this exciting news to have all of these piglets here on the homestead? So it looks like, even though we sold all of Ginger's feeder piglets already, we're gonna have 12 more coming up for sale in the next few weeks. So you guys, if you're interested, go to our website. There's a form to fill out to be put on the list for feeder piglets. And you can fill that out. If you're interested in breeders, fill that out as well. And we'll let you know once we determine how many of these females can be turned into breeders. But you guys, we are just excited to have all of these piglets. All of the moms have done such a great job. It's just such a blessing to have. All right, now that we're done with chores here at the homestead, let's head down to the farm. We're going to start on today's project. Well, it's time to get started on our project for today. But before we do, we wanted to take just a minute to talk to you guys about why we're doing the project that we're doing and a real struggle that we've had here on our homestead and that probably a lot of you either have had or will have in the future.
You know, when we have moved on to a new property, or like when we bought this farm property, someone else had come up with the layout of where everything was when we first arrived. And as we started spending time on the properties, you know, we feel like it was hard to envision what we wanted to do where, because we were working with somebody else's plans.
Right. It's easy to get kind of trapped in a box,
right,
and feel like, well, this is where a fence is, and so that's where a fence always needs to be, or this area is used for this, and that's what we need to continue using it for.
So one thing that we've always tried to do is to really kind of erase those boundaries or those barriers so that it allows our minds to be able to dream and to figure out where we want to expand and where we want to do things on our homestead.
Right, because you need to remember that the previous owner of your homestead or your farm or whatever it is, they set things up that would work for what they wanted to accomplish.
Right.
They had their own goals and dreams for that piece of land, and they did the best they could and made things work for their goal. But when you move on, it's time to have your own goals and your
right,
own dreams for that piece of land.
Right.
And while we don't like to take things down just to take things down because it's a lot of work,
right,
sometimes you have to be willing to do that in order to kind of progress and make it work for what you want.
So today we're actually removing a boundary or a barrier that has kind of kept our minds from being able to dream about what we want to do in this space. And specifically, it is this fence right here. We're going to be taking down this fence and taking care of all of the brush that has really been growing up in it so that we can continue dreaming about what we want to use this area for and this area's purpose.
So before we start tearing this fence down, let's go for a little walk. I want to review with you guys some of the things that we've already done. Now, I'll tell you guys, it is super windy today. Typically, our microphones do a good job with the wind. We hope that's the case today. We won't know until we get inside and start editing this video, but hopefully the wind isn't going to be an issue. Let's go for a walk. We've showed you in another video, but I want to review with you what we've already done to make way for what we're doing today. So we're in this big lot area here in front of our hay barn behind me. The previous owner of this property would allow the cattle to come into this area. This was open for the cattle to be able to get in here and graze this area down. It's really not very big. It's probably, I don't know, 75 feet wide and 100 feet long. It's not a real big area, but he allowed the cattle in here to graze this down. We didn't really like that plan because in the winter when we needed to feed hay, it meant they were able to get into this area. And when we were trying to get hay out of the hay barn, obviously it was more of a battle because the cattle would want to get in there and try to eat the bales of hay right out of the hay barn. So we decided to put up a different fence last winter, or maybe it was last fall, and it really made a big difference over the winter. So you can see over here, and we did a video for you guys when we put this up. We put a 3-strand electric fence. It goes from the corner of our garage here over to the corner of the hay barn, and then there's an electric gate over here so that the cattle can't get in this area at all anymore. You can see that it's overgrown right now, so yes, it is an additional thing that I need to mow because of that. We're going to get that taken care of today as well. But it really made the winter a lot easier because now we no longer need to worry about having things across the front of the hay barn to keep the cattle out. We're able to go in and out freely with the tractor, and the cattle never get up in this area.
This fence back here, we kept this up in case the new electric fence didn't work. And then we would still be able to have the cattle contained in here and not get all over the property. Well, now that we know that that electric fencing is working for us, there's really no need for this fence back here. We're going to take it down. By taking it down, it will allow us to be able to walk from the greenhouse into this area a lot easier. It's going to make mowing a ton easier. We're not going to have all of this stuff growing up here. But there's also an idea that Kevin and I are working on for this space. We're not ready to share it yet. We're not 100% how we're going to use it exactly. So those ideas are going to be coming in the future, hopefully. But today we're taking down this fence because it's just going to be easier for us, and really right now it's just in the way.
So there's actually 2 fences that we need to take down here today. You can see there's the old woven wire fence, and then someone also put 5 strands of barbed wire kind of over the top of the woven wire fence, probably so the cattle weren't sticking their head through and quite as much. So we have 2 fences to take down today. They're all mostly connected to these wooden poles. There are a few T-posts down at the end. This is one of the things that kind of makes us sad, is taking down all of these old wooden poles, because it did give the farm a look that we really like, kind of an older, farm look. But you guys, we need this place to be functional more than just looking neat. So in this case, we have to take these down. So we're going to take down all the barbed wire first because that's kind of over the top of everything. And then we can take down this old woven wire fence as well. Next thing that we need to do is remove all of these old poles. Most of them are these old wooden poles. They're not in the ground real good anymore, but you guys, these poles are probably 50 years old. So to be honest, I'm impressed with how well they still are in after that long. We'll be able to get most of them out pretty easily just by hand, but I'm surprised how well these have held up all these years. Well, this is the moment we've really been waiting for. This old fence is completely out, and now we're going to put the DR field and brush mower to the test to see if it can really handle cutting through this tall grass, all of these rose bushes, some blackberry. We're going to see how this thing really holds up. So you guys, the moment of truth, this is the DR Pro 26 field and brush mower. This thing is basically like a bush hog on the back of your tractor, except handheld. So this thing can go through, you know, all of this heavy brush, tall grass. It's supposed to do it all, and we're so excited to have it. One of the things that I think is really cool about it, and one of the things that really made me want one, first of all, is that we have so much fence line on our property, probably miles of fence line, that have exactly what we're going to be testing this out on today. Roses, blackberries, all this stuff that if you were to cut it out by hand, you'd be torn up by the time you were done. So I think this thing will go under the lowest row of our barbed wire fence in most places and be able to get all of that out. One thing I like, you know, nothing here in the Ozarks is flat ground. So this thing, as you mow, the deck on it can actually pivot to go with the ground. You can adjust it so it can go more or less, and I think it's going to be just a huge benefit to have. The other thing is it has 3 gears, so if you're going uphill you can go a little bit slower, but if you're on good flat ground you can go faster. It has reverse so you can back up. You guys, this thing seems like a beast. I've tested it out just a little bit so far, but only on grass, nothing like this, so let's give it a test. You guys, that was awesome. I don't think I've ever used something that went through brush and the thorny stuff like this DR field and brush mower. We're so excited to have this here on the homestead. You know, this isn't the first thing that I've gotten from DR Power Equipment. Everything that we've gotten from them is just built, I mean, unbelievably good. This thing, I can tell, I mean, if you could feel this thing, it is a beast. We're excited to have it here on the homestead. I'm going to use it to mow the rest of all this tall grass. Once we're done with that, we'll be back with you guys. We're going to get this thing looking better than the front lawn. Well, you guys, this turned out awesome. It looks so nice with that old fence gone. Now we can move on with plans that we have to kind of use these two areas together as one big area, which will be super exciting. but we're not quite ready to tell you guys about that just yet.
The DR Field and Brush Mower did a great job. We're excited to have that part of our mowing capabilities.
Right. You guys, that's where we're gonna end today's video. This wind is out of control. It's time to be done working for the day.
Camera's gonna tip over.
We hope you enjoyed spending some time with us on the farm today, seeing the piglets. So exciting when new life happens here on the homestead.
You guys, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Also, remember that the best way to help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.